Hey,
Hey,
we're back.
what's up? All right.
As you can tell, I have a new guest with me today. So let me introduce this guest. She's been a friend of mine for 6 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Her name is Jillian. We've been roaming the earth together for a minute, and we've become really good friends. So
Yeah.
we have a topic that is going to be interesting.
Real interesting.
Real interesting. So, Jillian, we decided to get on this topic because she ended up matching with a guy very recently that they have a little thing together. But, this topic is on brotherly love. How did we come up with this topic?
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
I'll tell you what happened. All right. So, last summer, I was at a bar in Denver, and I met a guy who we had some pretty instant chemistry immediately, and we ended up going out a couple times, and with that, we ended up hanging out a couple times after that for approximately 2 weeks.
We're going to call this guy Bob.
Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, Bob. Yeah. So Bob and I had a fling. Bob was an attorney from Mississippi, and so I had plans to go back to Virginia and visit family at one point, and he offered to take me to the airport and all this stuff, and he said he couldn't wait to see me when I got back. So I went to Virginia. I didn't hear from him for a good 5 to 7 days. And then eventually he did text me, and he said that he got an offer to join a firm in Jacksonville. So he basically packed all of his stuff up, moved to Jacksonville within a couple days, and I didn't really hear from him again. So just a 2-week summer fling. It was fun while it lasted. And so recently I was on Hinge. This is a year later. And I matched with someone who I was immediately attracted to, and we started talking. And I recognized someone in one of his pictures with him. And so I started talking to this guy. We were texting for about a week, and then we met in person. And I had to break it to this guy that his brother was the one that I had a fling with a year ago.
Brotherly love.
Brotherly love. So
now, how long you guys been hanging out now?
We've been hanging out for like 2 to 3 weeks now.
So she came to me with all this stress. She's like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
And I don't know, from a guy's perspective.
Guy's perspective,
right? Right. My perspective is that if a girl has hooked up with my brother, I don't know if I could date that girl. Now, there's plenty of reasons why. A is because it's always going to be on my mind. B,
fair.
I'm going to always feel like not sloppy seconds. Maybe it was sloppy.
Okay.
We don't know. We're not going to go into that.
It's never sloppy.
We're not going to go into that world.
I will specify that.
This is a PG rated podcast. But yeah, man, I don't know if I could do it. But she came to me and asked what she should do, essentially, how she should go about it. Should she withhold information until he likes her and he shows a picture of her to his brother and finds out through them? And
let me interrupt you. I'm going to tell you how I told him. I could not keep it in for very long. And I certainly didn't want to hook up with him without telling him first. So I went over to his place. His roommate was home. He had recently had a foot injury, so he'd been taking some pain medicine for that. So I went over ready to tell him. He was already like a Percocet or 2 deep. He had been taking some dabs, had a couple beers, and I'm like, fuck. Excuse me. Sorry, PG podcast.
No, this is triple X-rated. In case you haven't heard the other podcasts, you can dive back into that.
So I had to tell him under the influence, unfortunately, because we kind of planned on hooking up. Not really planned, but we were both looking forward to doing that night. So I told him. He was very baffled and looked pretty sad and said he needed some time to process. So we went back into the living room, hung out with his roommate just like we were doing when I first got there. And we just kind of carried on.
She was rubbing his leg.
Yeah, rubbing his leg, right?
Consoling him.
So a week later, so today, he texted me saying, look, I've been thinking about you telling me about my brother. And to be honest, like, I wasn't really with it that night. And he basically wanted more information. And I wasn't going to text him that information. I wanted to meet him in person. So I did today. And Eric gave me the perfect amount of confidence to...
For all you women listening, I give great female advice.
Yes, this is a very good best friend to have. Let me just put it that way.
I give it to you real.
Yeah, give it to you real. Not always what you want to hear, but I kind of take what he has to say and mix it with what I want to say, and it really comes out pretty well.
Anyway, from my perspective, she came in, she was like, oh my God, help me out with this text, what do I say? And she was pacing back and forth. It took her 10 minutes. She finally gave me her phone and was like, here, write it. And all I responded with was, if you want to talk about this in person, I'm available in an hour, or whatever it was. But
which was perfect.
I was telling her, hey, you did nothing wrong, right?
Nothing. You can't change the past.
You can't change the past. You don't even think about him anymore, right? Like, you're the new guy. It's just an unfortunate situation. But
yeah.
As she was pacing, she was all flustered, and I was like, whoa, slow the fuck down. Because, like, if you come at him with this irrational, and it's not irrational, but, like, very defensive mindset, you're going to look guilty.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was a year ago. Well, yeah, go in with poise.
Right. And there's nothing to be guilty about. Like I said, you can't change the past. The ball is basically in his court. And I do really like this guy. I think we have a lot of potential together, a lot more than his brother. We are definitely a better match. So, yeah, I went over there with confidence. I just kind of listened to what he had to say. I answered any questions that he had with confidence, which is very important at this point. So I made a really good impression, and from what I got when I left is that I think he is going to miss me, and he's going to be hitting me up hopefully in the next couple days. And you know what? I was getting attached, but I'm not at the point where, like, he's the only thing I'm thinking about. So if he says no, I respect his opinion. I respect his feelings. And you know what? Tomorrow's another day. We're going to move on. If he's like...
Point of the story is you're not going to beg someone to like you.
Correct.
You know, there's if this person has a problem with something that you did in your past, that's truly not your problem.
Right.
Like,
and one thing he did mention was that, well, what if we do get serious and we end up going to a family function? So clearly he hasn't talked to his brother yet, which I'm very happy about, because I want him to have his own opinion of me. I don't want him to go off of his brother, because I was at a point in my life where I really didn't want a relationship. I was really looking to hook up. I didn't tell him that directly, but we both made it clear today that we want something serious. So I told him, I was like, you know, he mentioned wanting to continue hanging out either way, and I'm like, no. Like, if you just want to keep hanging out and only be exclusive and not want a relationship, then I'm not here for it.
Women, we're idiots. We think with a flashlight mentality. You guys think like a Christmas tree where, you know...
Isn't it wonderful?
7 lights are going off at once, and we're just like, oh, the football game's on. Like,
yeah.
But where I was going with that is you put the ball in his court, and that's awesome, and you did it with confidence. So
yes. So it's up to him at this point.
Confidence is sexy.
We're Leos.
Yes.
So.
Well, alpha male and alpha female, I guess.
We thrive in that.
Confidence is sexy. Own your shit, right? Like, you're not going to apologize for something that you did that I mean, I don't know whether you regret or not. Even at this point in time, it doesn't matter.
No.
Like, you can stress out and go down a wormhole of, oh my God, he doesn't like me because of this. But that's depleting your self-worth, and that's not what I'm about. So
no, and there's nothing to really feel guilty about. You know, I mean, timing can be wonderful. Timing can also be a bitch, and I think we can all agree with that.
I think I have up to 20 future ex-wives because of timing. You try and get with the girl, oh, she's not ready.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got out of a relationship. Oh, I'm working on my life. And it's like, aren't we all doing that?
We're all doing that. We're just trying to thrive and just go day
Can
by
I help
day.
you grow? Can I
That's what you
support
want.
you, even if it's for 2 weeks, 2 months,
Right.
2 years? Can I be... I think that's another thing that you guys need to take away from the, I guess, masculine thought of that is, hey, we're sensitive beings too. I think the roles have reversed where women are getting a lot more confident and they're like owning
As
their
we
shit.
should.
And men are getting more emotional and sensitive and like poor me mentality. But hey, we just want to be loved too. We all just want to be hugged and cared about. And you know, I think I told you on your birthday. I forgot exactly what I said, but I was just like, it's really simple. You tell the person that you like them.
Yeah.
You put in the ball in their court. If they say no, that's okay. At least I tried. If I didn't try, or I'm ghosting, or something like it's never going to work to begin with. So you got to be vulnerable. You got to be open. Mm-hmm. Let your guard down, please. Yeah. Everybody, not just women, right? Like, dude, we've all gotten our heart broken. But what do we all want? We all want love.
We break hearts. We get our hearts broken.
In order to do that, you gotta let that guard down. You gotta let people see. Your real self. And
while we're kind of on this subject, I'd like to bring up, because it's kind of been a dilemma in my world recently, but especially with dating apps. So you meet with someone, and unless you are super upfront, you're not making your needs known. So like, I've had people tell me, you need to make your expectations known right away. Granted, when you think about that, it's a lot of pressure on someone, especially when you haven't even gotten to know them very well, but you do want to make your expectations known. So are you just in this to hook up, or are you in this for the long run? But you don't want to scare someone away by telling them your expectations right away.
Yeah.
So it's dating is
I don't
really
know.
hard.
I kind of do, because
I mean, do you make
show you're crazy as fast as possible.
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
Expectations, I hate the word expectations, because I think all expectations lead to disappointment.
You shouldn't go in with expectations, which is great advice, but if you have them and you know you have them, make them known.
Well, right, one of the basic forms of a relationship is communication and trust. So instead of using expectations, I use the word desires. If you could not delegate, but communicate what your vision is, and if you guys can meet on the same, I call it a carpet ride, magic carpet ride, then it'll work. But don't try to force something that doesn't work. Yeah.
And with dating apps, I think that's very hard, because a lot of people are going into them with just wanting a hookup, or just be exclusive to each other, or they really do want to go in with a relationship. And I think that has a lot to do with the dating app.
Or they just want to bang.
Exactly. And if you want to bang, great. Just fine.
Tell us what you're you're thinking.
Right.
I don't know.
But when we tell you guys, I'm in this for the long run, I'm in this for a relationship, where do you stand? Like, that's a lot of pressure on you, but it's also good getting your expectations out there if you really do want a long-term relationship. But you don't know that person well enough yet, so where do you go?
I don't have a brotherly love kind of situation.
Okay.
But is what I told you guys earlier is, if the timing is perfect, the chemistry is perfect for right now.
You have to look at
to have expectations
factors.
To look at me or to look at her and say we're going to be lifelong soulmates. That's literally an expectation. That's a figment of your imagination that you're projecting out to someone else. Hey, if y'all are both on the same wavelength, that's awesome. So again,
same page. Communication is clearly the most important.
So we're on the same page. If it works for 2 weeks, if it works for 2 months, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, the rest of our life, we're just always in the moment. And you got to be able to communicate and trust. And whoa, we're going to whip back around is the
Yeah.
fact that, you know, again, coming from my perspective, it seems like Bob's brother, who you're dating right now,
Right.
fucking,
We'll call him Bo.
we'll call him Bo and Bob. Wow.
Bo and Bob.
So Bo is going to feel maybe a little insecure. I don't know if y'all can stay on the same wavelength. I wish you well,
Yeah.
but I have no idea.
Well, and as like blunt as I would like to be, I want to tell him, you and I have better chemistry. You are better in bed. Like, because he is, but are we there yet?
Sorry, Bob. If
I
you're
know.
watching out there.
Bob, you know what? I could really tell that you had a lot going for you, but you were also kind of a womanizer, and it sucks because Bo and Bob are very close.
But they're very different.
Very close, but very different, yeah. And I think Bo and I have a lot of potential, and I did tell him that when I left today, but I do believe from what his actions, I think he really wanted more. So I'm expecting him to hit me up again very soon. But if not, then like we said, the ball's out of my court. There's nothing I can do about it. So I luckily haven't dove so deep into the point where I'm like completely infatuated with him. Like I said, I think we have a lot of potential. I really want to move forward and make memories with him and like get to know him more, but you know, you just kind of gotta go with the flow sometimes.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
So we're live, literally live, and we're live in this
Alive!
social experiment with her and her two brothers.
Yeah. Two brothers. Oh, man. And they are close. Let me tell you. Like, when I tell you... So, Bo already told me tonight that he's going back home for Christmas. And I can just tell they get together for family functions. They're both from the South. They come from a small town. Like, they're... Yeah, man. They're...
Well, good luck to you
Like
and
this.
all your endeavors.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I
I
really
got
appreciate
your
your
back.
advice along the way.
Yeah. So that concludes. Again, if you want to comment below,
Yeah, what would
even if
you
it's
do?
4 months, 2 years from
Yeah.
the actual upload date, see where Jillian stands.
Yeah, I would love to hear feedback. What would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
Because Eric told me it would be clearly a deal breaker for him. But I've also
out.
talked to people and they were like, well, if the chick's cool enough, like, you could get past it. But I get it if it's always going to be in the back of his mind, then no, I don't want that. But
Yeah, so give us some
see.
feedback, give some opinions out to the other people that are going to be watching this, and until next time, again, hit the subscribe button, follow along.
this guy's amazing.
Thank you.
One of my best friends.
Appreciate
Got
you.
some good advice and feedback for most humans.
Take it with a
So,
grain of salt or take it to heart. Again, we're open to everything here.
Yes.
Peace.